Ordinance amendment number 10 is Chapter 19, Article 3, defining zoning and regulating grid scale and distributed power generation facilities. This ordinance was postponed after public hearing, motion for final passage and several amendments at the June 13, 2016 meeting. It is now once again before the council for further discussion.
You've heard the reading. What is the wish of council for further discussion? Councilor Pritchett.
Madam Mayor, I would like to propose two simple amendments. I believe they're on council member's desk. Does the clerk have them?
Are those the ones you passed out?
Yes. The first amendment on page 1, this just deals with the question we've talked about here. I think in two different formats, the question of when the moratorium expires and being sure that we don't inadvertently leave a window which moratorium has expired, the ordinance amendment doesn't pass. It simply says, notwithstanding anything to the contrary in Title I, Maine revised statute, this ordinance amendment is indeed and shall apply to any site plan or building applications filed with the City Hall after June 12, 2016. So this simply makes the ordinance amendments effective, assuming they were adapted on June 12th, which is prior to the earliest interpretation of the moratorium might expect. The other amendment, if you look on the last 2 pages of the handout, this was a question that came up back in May. The power generation ordinance was never intended to apply to backup generators. And there was some question about how to appropriately define backup generators so that it's clear to the code officer, it's clear to the applicants. This simply adopts reference to the federal definition in that as opposed to writing our own. In practice, the federal definition means you can't use the backup generator as a peaking facility. You can't use the backup generator as part of a paid demand response claim. You can't use the backup generator to sell power. The backup generator has to be used primarily for backup power and for a limited number of additional hours per year. So those are the 2 recommendations made by the Energy Committee.
Any discussions on the amendments? Councilor Clayton.
Just a few questions, actually, for Councilor Pritchett. One, because I just got this today, I didn't get the chance to research it. You just mentioned previously that they weren't designed to, and then you went into a couple. Are those all defined in what it states as a 20 CFR?
Correct.
Those were all those things that you just said.
Yeah, I provide a summary of what 20 CFR 33, Section 63 is.
Okay. Not understanding realistically what a RICE is.
It's just a reciprocating engine.
Yeah. Well, but it sounds like it's an emergency backup power. Is that correct?
Right.
So, I'm trying to figure out what my questions are. I'm just getting it today, so I'm trying to figure out how it applies. And the only reason I have a brief statement and another question probably is, we've had quite a few of these recently where the statement is it's not meant to. It's not meant to. It's hard to justify what they're not meant to and who they don't apply to and what they do apply to. This is one of those. I just have a hard time trying to put my head around this, not understanding completely what a RICE is, who has one locally, how long they may run it without being in violation, that sort of thing. So that's kind of my question.
If I can, I mean, RICE is just the Fed's an acronym. Most I think all backup generators are just reciprocating engines. They're small ones. They're essentially a lawnmower engine. They're a large one. They're a car engine. If it's a commercial facility, it might be the equivalent of a large diesel truck engine. All RICE is reciprocating. I can't do it off the top, but all RICE refers to as reciprocating engine generators. So you're talking about the classic backup generator powered by a small or mid-sized engine that's running the generator.
Okay. And is there, within the 20 CFR, is there a defined time limit where they're allowed to use these or run these without being in violation?
Yes. They're allowed to be run any time power is not available from the grid. And for it's a residential area, X number of hours for testing. If it's a small commercial, Y additional hours.
there any questions? I have to think about it real quick.
Yep, you have some time. Further questions for Councilor Pritchett? People just need to read it?
It's not the reading, because reading is only one line. It's more just not getting the chance to kind of research because we just got it today. I understand the basis of it, but not knowing exactly what 20 CFR is and what it pertains to. I still have a concern of a time limit of when an entity may or may not run it. Just a brief suggestion maybe to do both of these amendments one at a time.
I will withdraw my motion and make a motion to simply take the First Amendment first.
Councilor Pritchett has withdrawn his motion and would like to take...
make a motion to add, the modification to the, on page 1 to the application date.
Notwithstanding anything to the contrary in Title 1. You have that, Stuart?
Yes, I do.
Is there any discussion on the amendment any further? Seeing none, the clerk is recognized for the vote on the amendment.
Councilor Acker.
Yes.
Councilor Geiger.
Yes.
Mayor McCollum.
Yes.
Councilor Pritchett.
Yes.
Councilor Clayton.
Yes.
The amendment passes with a 5-4-0 opposed.
I will then remake as a separate amendment, an amendment to add a definition and exemption for backup generators as defined in the federal code.
Councilor Pritchett is further amending that he'd like to put in a definition. Does the clerk have that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So any...
Well, if I just say to your question, part of that came from the code office. John has run into indications where people hadn't paid their power bill, and the power hadn't shut off, and they were just running their backup power generator all the time. So the intent of the federal code is to put a number in there so that you're exempted, your backup generator is running when the power's not available. And everyone recognizes the backup generator needs to be run a certain amount of additional time for testing or for if it's a healthcare facility going on to run it as part of emergency response. And all those pieces were in there. And I think it was simpler to accept the federal definition than try to write our own.
Councilor Clayton.
Just real quickly, I may be, let's say I won't vote for this right now, and I understand that it may be a complete moot point, maybe something completely trivial that I may be voting against. However, I'm doing this in the best interest of what we've been asked to do, and that's, this came to us today, and we're being asked to vote for it today without proper research. Just as some people that are highly supportive of these two ordinances ask us not to, be kind of subversive or secretive, I'm doing this for the same thing. I just haven't had a chance to research it. We discussed during an agenda setting meeting, Councilor Pritchett said, moving forward, if this does pass, we will look at these again. There may be other amendments that bring forward. This would be one of them. It may pass right here, right now. Outside of that, I just can't vote for it without understanding completely, and that's due to my own naivety.
Further discussion on the amendment? Councilor Geiger.
I would just sort of second Larry that this exemption is actually giving companies the ability to use an internal combustion engine which is dirtier than most other power options when there's an emergency, but defining it as it needs to be used during an emergency and during testing rather than continuously. So I see it as actually giving companies protection for what they'll need in the case of a disaster or the loss of the power grid.
And I think from energy security, it also protects against the flip side of that. If someone doesn't put in a backup power generator in an attempt to use it as a peaking facility, running it at high demand times every night in the summertime and getting paid for it, it precludes that. That's the line that definition attempts to draw.
Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, the clerk is recognized for the vote on the amendment.
Councilor Clayton.
No.
Councilor Pritchett.
Yes.
Mayor McCollum.
Yes.
Councilor Geiger.
Yes.
Councilor Acker.
Yes.
The amendment passes for ordinance number 10 with a 4-1 opposed, and that was Councilor Clayton.